Admin tab. From the Administrator drop-down list, anyone in the admin group can edit the ORI screen, add, change, delete LRS codes, change passwords, add new users, add, change drop-down data, view online users, change and/or set up CAD, and print employee reports. Let's start by the change ORI and address, where the agency's ORI number, name, and contact information will appear. Click the Edit Information button, and then you can make changes. And once done, click Save Changes and click OK. Back to the drop-down list. Now let's select the Add New LRS, which will bring up all Louisiana statutes in the system, where you can scroll down the list until finding the one you would like to edit or delete. Or you can click the Search button, where you can enter a word into the value field, and for the value type, for example, enter disturb, followed by the percentage sign, and select description for value type, and click look up, and the table will be narrowed down to the criteria with disturb anywhere in its description. A good practice when using the search tool is to use the percentage symbol as a catch-all on the description you are looking for. However you choose to find the LRS code you are looking for, once you have found the code you want, double-click. You can now edit the LRS code. Back to the drop-down list, click Change Court Data, where a table will show all the existing courts in the system. Double-click a record to begin editing a court's information, followed by clicking the Update button when finished, or click the New button to add a court to the list. Next, from the Administrator drop-down list, select Change Password, where you must enter the current password followed by the new password. Type twice, hit Submit, and the password will be changed. Now let's add View Employees. Where a table of all current employees will appear. Double-click an employee to show details of that employee. Should the employee have access to IBR? By selecting No, there will be no need for them to have a password, and that drop-down box will disappear. If you change the user name of an employee, you will be prompted that if you do so, the username will be modified in all the tables in the database. The View Permissions button, when it opens, it will display all permissions available in the right-hand column. To grant certain permissions, highlight the permission you want to grant and click Add Permission. Add permission, and you'll see on the left-hand column that the permission was added to the permissions assigned list. Once completed, click Exit, and you return back to the employee information page. Click the View Special Securities Attributes, Which are permissions granted? For example, if an employee isn't a detective, you would assign that person the detective attribute. And once assigned, when they open up incidents on the special security attributes feature, it'll show the attributes that's been assigned to them. Once complete, hit exit and you return back to the employee page, where you can also assign notations to an employee. For example, an officer that goes above and beyond the call of duty in protecting an infant involved in a car accident would put the date received, notified by, the notified date, and then click Save. And that notation will appear in the table. Now click Return to Employee Screen. Also, any training that employee may have had. Click the Training button. And let's say this employee was trained to properly handle police dogs. We'll type that into the notes. The training hours, the training cost, qualified, title, the dates, and click Save. And then return to the employee screen. Also note, for the footer, you put the employee's information in, their name, the department they work in, their phone number, their email address, and it can be used as a footer when signing off on reports. Let's click Update and then exit. Back to the administrator drop-down list, let's select View Online Users. In this video, there will be no list since we're using a test database. But in the real world, you could come and click here and you could see who is actually using the system in real time. Next, from the administrator drop-down list, select Merge Individuals. Click Search. And for this example, we'll be looking for Alex Bowman Joseph. Select Alex, and it will populate into the Merge Individuals table. Search again, and click him again on his second record. Now you have two records of the same individual, and let's say that Crotch Springs is his most recent, so we'd set that as the parent, and then apply. You say yes, and now you're done. Back to the drop-down list, select Employee, where you have two options, Activity and Roster. Let's start by looking at Employee Activity, where you can select a date range followed by the type of module you are wanting to look up, whether it's their CAD activity, citations that they have written, etc., and then selecting the officer. Followed by clicking Print. which will show that employee's activity for complaints module in that given time frame. Now back to the employee, let's check out the roster, which will show the roster in print form. Back to the administrator drop-down list, select Manage Fee Types, where you can see all the existing fees entered into the system. If you want to add a new fee, click the New button. And once you've entered the new fee, click Save, and it will appear in the fee table. The last one we will look at from the drop-down list is CAD. Select the 10 codes, which will bring up the list of all the codes entered into the system. To edit a code, select that code, and let's say Unit in Test Mode, and click Save. And it will appear in the drop-down list. Next, let's look at the Assigned Unit screen. Double-click on a unit, and it'll give you all the information about what officer is attached to that unit, the license number, assigned when and time, expiration. And note, when unassigning a unit, the date and time must be entered before you can save. Next, from the CAD drop-down, select Set Default Range, which is how many days back CAD will display in both calls and dispatch in number of days. And lastly, from the CAD section, click Set Overdue Response, which is the overdue response time in minutes, which you can set to alert you if you haven't had a response from a particular unit in a certain amount of time.